I'm Jay Taylor. I'm the editor of a newsletter called Jay Taylor's Gold, Energy, and Tech Stocks. I deliver that through my Substack uh, facility and welcome all of you to check out my work there. But today I'm here at the Metals Investor Forum in Toronto. It is the 28th of February, 2026, and I'm really pleased to have John Sclodnick with me. He is the CEO and a board member of Nevada King Gold Corp, a company that I think is very much flying under the radar screen. That's why I invited them to the Metals Investor Forum. I think it's a story you need to pay close attention to. John, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for the invite. Yeah, and the exposure to Nevada King.
So we start out with over 1 million ounces of oxides that are very high grade. I mean, it's important for people, especially newcomers into the industry, and we have a lot of new ones now, the gold price taking off, that when you have over an ounce, a gram of gold per ton in Nevada, and they're oxides and you can heap leach or they're easy to process, those can be very profitable ounces, especially when you're talking $5,000 gold. Talk to us a little bit about what you have now and what you're hoping to do in the future, because I know you have a tremendous amount of exploration potential.
Yeah. So getting into that resource, it is a very high quality resource. It's a bit of a bimodal system where, yeah, part of that material would get stacked on a heap leach pad, and that is incredibly profitable to be able to do that run of mine. You look at some of these operations, Florida Canyon, for example, where they're able to stack like 0.2 grams per ton and generate significant
And it's
cash
still
flow.
making money
Still making
at
money.
lower grade, lower gold prices.
Absolutely, yeah. And so to have a high grade core as well, that's also oxidized, where we've got over 500,000 ounces at 4 grams per ton. It combines to be, a very powerful starting engine with the resource. So we finished drilling our phase 2 program, and we really wanted to show the market what we had. And we announced that resource of 1.1 million ounces at 1.1 grams per ton, with over 90% of that in an M&I category. So that's your higher confidence level. So it is a very high quality resource with that high grade core to really drive economics. But we wanted to just put that out as an update to our investors, an update to the market. This is not a stopping point, and we've got more exploration targets than we ever had. And that's what we're in the midst of doing right now, is finding more of these deposits on the property.
Yeah. Well, what attracted to me initially to your story was an incredibly high grade intercepts, some of the highest I've ever seen in my long mining career. Talk to us about a couple of those and maybe how that sort of distorted the picture from in the minds of people that may not be that familiar with mining and, the economics of mining and deposits and the nature of deposits, frankly, because I don't know, some people might expect you to have a couple of real, 100 meter hits of several grams per ton, and that ought to be just one solid mile of that or something like that.
Yeah.
And
No, we'd love to find that.
nature isn't like that, but
Yeah.
maybe help people understand why, you have the best of both worlds, really. This incredibly high grade oxides, and then you have these incredibly high grades.
Yeah, no, exactly. And so I think we might have seen that same intercept where it was 11.64 grams per ton over 108 meters. That was drilled October 2023. And that's what, attracted me to the story. I was like, what is going on here? And reached out to the company. At this time, I was in equity research. And this was a absolutely phenomenal hit. It was the best drill intercept drilled in Nevada in 2023. So we certainly want to find more of those. And we were able to consistently put out high grade results over strong intercepts. Those were the headline numbers. But like I mentioned at the start, it's a bimodal system. So we've got the really high grade intercepts, but also the material that sits above this unconformity, it's lower grade. So we're able to take that material that would be moved anyway and stack that on the heap leach pad. And so that's where you have a lower average grade of 1.1 grams per ton. But we've got an average of 4 grams per ton over 500,000 ounces. So that's where you have this bimodal system. Now, the force that deposited that high grade there at Atlanta, we're hoping to find more of that. And right now, we're exploring Silver Park is a focus. That's about 2 kilometers away. But we do view it as the same mineralizing event and believe that so far we found oxide near surface, which is exactly what we're looking for. But we're hoping to vector in on some of these higher grade areas at Silver Park as well. We don't need to. We're happy with kind of a 0.5 gram per ton material in this new area. It's additional to that strong starting engine. But if we're able to find more high grade intercepts, will be thrilled, and we think that they're there. It's
Mm.
really just vectoring in on them. And then, the rest of the property, we have this entire caldera within our land package. And, it's the same magmatic event that would have deposited the gold at the Atlanta resource zone, where we know it's at Silver Park. We know there's above cutoff grade mineralization at Atlanta North, Atlanta South. We've drilled all those and
Yeah.
hit there. So we know that there's gold everywhere we're poking holes.
Right.
The key right now is to vector in on higher grades, and that's what we're doing with our phase 4 program.
Right. And I saw a slide in your presentation showing the area in these prospective areas around the caldera. Very small area that 1.1 million ounces have come from,
Yeah.
and a very shallow level, essentially. Because we think, obviously, this thing has roots, it goes deeper, but your mission now is to find as much of the near surface stuff as you can, I guess. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So as we were drilling west, it was getting down to about 500 meters, and we're still finding, very good grades at very good intercepts. And we expect that once this goes into production as an open pit, that down the road it will transition to an underground, but it's just so much more expensive to drill that.
Sure.
We want to stay a low cost open pit oxide story. So we decided to pivot and look regionally on this 130 kilometer squared land package for nearer surface material. And we're happy to be finding that at Silver Park. But yeah, certainly, there is a source at depth. That's what we're looking for right now at Silver Park. Where's the source of this, and finding the higher grade, because there's no way you get this kind of blanket of disseminated lower grade material near the surface without some fluid source for that. So we're looking to hone in on that right now.
Right. One of the exciting things you told me when we spoke recently was that Round Mountain was an analog. Round Mountain, talk about Round Mountain.
Yeah.
Because if you find anything like Round Mountain, this is going to be a true world-class discovery.
Absolutely. And we think we have. This is the closest major operation to us. The analog is that it's also a caldera hosted oxide system. And, when Round Mountain went into production, it only had 1 million ounces at that point. They've since delineated, nearly 25 million ounces at this point. So there's a lot of parallels between the operations. Like I mentioned, we see potential for our deposit to continue underground, to transition to an underground operation at some point down the road. Round Mountain's doing that as we speak. So we really think that, it's this entire caldera that we have on our land package, and that we're just at the start of this. So 1.1 million ounces, that's just the first part. When you look at that slide that you're referring to, it's just a tiny little area on the entire caldera. So those are all the areas of exploration. And we didn't put this land package together to find 1.1 million ounces.
Right.
The geologists that put this land package together, they see a significant mineral endowment, and they're looking for something similar to a Round Mountain for sure.
Well, it's really exciting. You're well funded, I guess. So your drill program coming up. Well, Nevada, you can work year round, I guess, right? But
Yeah.
what are your plans for this year?
Yeah, so we're in the midst of our phase 4 20,000 meter drill program. That is fully funded. That will take us through Q2 to around mid-year, but we're just going to continue exploring. We've got really strong support from both our founders, our investors. Institutional ownership is up significantly to over 14% now. The conversations that I have with the institutions is very supportive, and we have the best interest from institutions and from other corporates that are tracking what we're doing. So we're glad that the stock's back to a level that we did our last financing at 25 cents. But we see when we did that financing, that felt like a low. We're lucky we didn't have to dilute through the downturn that we had. And now we're in this Golden Cross formation, very bullish indicator, and we're going up from here. We're through our 50-day moving average, through our 200-day moving average. And yeah, I think that this is going to continue to excel higher as we continue to put out strong drill results. But we're fully funded for this phase 4 program.
Yeah, and I think also it needs to be noted that not a lot of promotion went into this company's story until you arrived more recently. So I think you're getting the word out, and it's a very compelling story, at least to people that are somewhat understanding of the mining industry and how it works. And I think those oxides of 1.1 grams per ton is outstanding. So
no,
it's a
appreciate
great starting point.
Absolutely. No, appreciate you
Okay.
giving us some exposure. I agreed. It was a very under the radar story for
Yeah.
the longest time, and now getting out to conferences and getting the word out there, and people are shocked that they're like, oh wow, you got 1.1 million ounces here
Yeah.
in Nevada. Great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, thank you, John. Thank you so much for your time and telling the story, because I think I like my people to know about good stories, undervalued stories, and we'll be watching for drill results and other news this year.
Perfect. Appreciate the
All right.
opportunity, Jay.
You bet.